Day of Atonement. If you hold this page and go to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, according to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, let's read about the 7-day Sabbath. Let's read about the weekly Sabbath day. What did Yah say about the Sabbath day according to Leviticus 23rd chapter, the first and second verse?
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations.
Concerning the holy days, the feasts, the festivals that ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, the Creator said, these are even my feasts.
6 days shall work be done.
Now he talks about the 7-day Sabbath. He said 6 days shall work be done.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
The 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
And holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein.
Ye shall do no work.
It is the Sabbath of Yahweh.
It is the Sabbath of Yahweh.
In all your dwellings.
Notice what it says. This is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. That means irrespective of where you live. In Africa, Europe, or America, wherever, and the word dwelling and habitation mean the same thing. In all your habitations, in all your dwellings, it shall be a Sabbath. So therefore, we keep the Sabbath day, the weekly Sabbath day, regardless where we at. Then we get to the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, and read about the Day of Atonement, the holiest day in the year. And notice what Yah says about the Day of Atonement in verse 31.
Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever.
Here it says the same thing. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a what?
A statute forever.
It shall be a statute forever.
Throughout your generations.
Again, the same thing as the Passover. Throughout your generations.
In all your dwellings.
Notice it said throughout your generations, but it said in all your dwellings. Meaning, irrespective of where we might live, we are commanded by the law to keep the Day of Atonement wherever we are at, in all of our habitations, in all of our dwellings. Likewise, the 7-day Sabbath. But when you go back to the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter, and we look at the 14th verse, and it said again, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. But the word in all your generations was omitted. Now, why was it omitted here? Was the Creator, was he sleeping? Was he tired? Was he intoxicated? Did he have a slip of memory? Did he merely forget to include the word throughout your generations? And I'm telling you, he didn't. To prove that he didn't, let's look in the same chapter, dealing with the same law pertaining to the Passover. Notice what it says in verse 25.
And it shall come to pass,
Dealing with the Passover, it shall come to pass,
when ye be come to the land, which Yahweh will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service.
notice what it says. It shall come to pass when ye come to the land which Yahweh will give you. He's speaking of the promised land, the land of Canaan, the land that Yahweh shall give you according as he has promised. He's not talking about Chicago or Mississippi or Cincinnati. He's talking about the land of Canaan, the land of Israel, the land of Yahweh that he gave as an inheritance to his sons who are the children of Israel. And he said, when you come to this land that he's promised you, that you should keep this service. Furthermore, when you dealing with the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, when you go to the 13th chapter, dealing with the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, notice what it says in the 3rd verse.
And Moses said unto the people, Remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For by strength of hand of Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten.
Talking about the Feast of Unleavened Bread that we keep also right after the Passover.
This day came ye out in the month of Abib.
And notice what the 5th verse says. And it shall be when Yahweh shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee, a land flowing with milk and honey, that thou shalt keep this service in this month. We keep it in the month of Abib once we get to the land of Canaan, the land of the Canaanites, the land of the Jebusites, the land of the Hittites, the land that Yahweh promised us that we should keep this service. Nowhere did he tell us to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Passover anywhere we're at. And further, if you go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter, you might say to yourself, well, didn't these other pastors see this? They were not called by the Most High. They could not point out these secret things. The things that I bring to you, that's not no secret revelation that the Almighty gave just Elesha while he was sleeping. Every revelation that the Creator has revealed to me is already written in the book of life. But nobody was here to explain this revelation until he sent his prophets. According to Amos 3:7, it says Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Right here, we find in Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter, dealing with the Passover. Notice what the Creator says in verse 5 and 6.
Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates.
I want you so-called bootleg, lying Pentecostal preachers to hear this, and you got our people thinking they're celebrating the Passover. I want all you Seventh-day Adventists that claim they're keeping these holy days, and all of you Israelites who claim that you know the truth, to hearken unto the words that I read. Don't hearken unto my words, but hearken unto the words that Yah is speaking to me. And what is he saying? And what is he revealing in the 16th chapter, the 5th and 6th verse? It starts off, thou mayest not. Anytime the Creator starts off that away, that's the commandment. He's telling you exactly what he don't want you to do, and you took that and did exactly the opposite.
Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee,
But
at the place which Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose to place his name in,
there should I sacrifice the Passover at evening,
at the going down of the sun,
at the season,
that thou camest forth out of Egypt.
and thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go into your tents. Notice, we can only eat the Passover, the lamb or the goat, in the place that Yahweh shall choose. And that's not in California. It's nowhere in New York. It's not in Mississippi. It's not in Philadelphia. It's not in St.